Once you have a clean data set, you can use Sparklines to show quick visual trends right inside your cells. Sparklines are small charts that help you see whether something is going up, down, or staying steady over time, without taking up much space, which makes them especially useful for dashboards, reports, and KPI summaries. To add them, go to Insert, Sparklines. Then choose the type you want. I will start with column sparklines. Next, select the data range you want the sparklines to represent. Once you have added one, you can copy and drag it across all other columns, just like any formula. Right now, the sparklines look a bit too small, so I will increase the row height to make them easy to view. You can also add markers to highlight things like the highest, lowest, or negative values. And if you want, try out some of the predefined color themes to match your dashboard's look. The column version, though, looks a little heavy visually, so I will switch to Line Sparklines with markers instead. They're easier to scan across the data. Then I will copy them to the rest of my data set. Notice that whenever you add a sparkline to your data, Excel keeps them connected in groups so they can share formatting and settings. However, you may want to split the groups, especially if you want to add an axis to your sparklines by going to Axis and selecting the vertical axis option. Here you have three choices. You can keep the minimum and maximum values automatic and separate for each sparkline. Or you can keep them the same for all sparklines in the group, which means the group will use the same minimum and maximum values from the full data set. And finally, you can also apply a custom value, which I can set to 0, for example, to give me a more consistent base. However, that can take away some of the visual trends within each data set. You can change the grouping of sparklines by selecting the Ungroup option. When you do that though, you need to select the entire set of sparklines you want to ungroup, not just one. You can also select a few sparklines and group them together to share formatting and settings. Then apply the axis setting consistently across the group. Now, what happens when you do not have data in some of your cells and they are blank? By default, the sparkline will be created with gaps. You can control the way blanks are shown by going to Edit Data, then Hidden and Empty Cells, and choosing either to connect data points with a line or show them as zeros. For most accurate and clear view though, showing blanks as gaps is usually the best option. Now, what happens if I want to show the sparkline trend lines and hide the underlying data? The sparklines are also hidden. They do not disappear though, because when I select one of the cells, I can still see the sparkline menu show up and the sparkline group cells are selected. So they are still there. To show them, go to Edit Data, then Hidden and Empty Cells, and select Show Data in Hidden Rows and Columns. If you want to delete a sparkline, just pressing Delete on your keyboard will not work. You have to go to Sparkline tab and use the Clear option. If you select only the option to clear the selected sparklines, only the one you selected will be deleted. You have to choose to clear the entire group to remove them all. Finally, one more sparkline type I want to show you is the win-loss sparkline. They are good showing wins and losses, but not perfect. For example, I have a set of soccer games here with goal information and the results are either win, loss, or draw. The results values need to be labeled as 1 for win, -1 for loss, and 0 for draw. Select the season result values, then go to Insert Sparklines and choose the Win-Loss option. Next, specify a cell where you want the sparkline for the full season. This is a bit small, so I will increase the row height and merge a few cells to make the results stand out more. Notice that the zeros are not showing at all, which makes this trend look incomplete. Because zeros won't show up in win-loss option. Even if I add 0 as a custom value to try to show them, it will not work. I tried a few ways to show the axes and 0 markers, but that is a limitation of the win-loss sparkline. Only the wins, positive numbers, and losses, the negative numbers, are charted in equal bars. The zeros won't be charted at all. You could use a line sparkline though with markers to show the results instead, but that also may not be very useful. However, for other uses, sparklines are really great showing trends. Thanks so much for watching.